We're almost ready. All right, everybody, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. I believe it made it. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the crowd. Welcome to ATX Alive. We're really lucky today to have Jill McKeever doing our cooking demo for us. Is there anybody in the crowd that does not know Jill McKeever? Raise your hand. Everybody knows Jill.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm not going to... So Jill is the iPot queen. She runs ATX, or not ATX Live, but her YouTube channel is Simple Daily Recipes. And she's got a website, simpledailyrecipes.com. She shows recipes using the iPot, not using the iPot, just things that she runs up on, cooking tips. She's one of my favorite go-to chefs to watch. Shanna Brannon's another one, but Jill for sure. She's awesome. And she's making one of my very favorite dishes today. There are two things in my kitchen that when I make it, I always wish I'd make twice as much.
Yeah.
One of them is this dish, and the other one is the African stew recipe. So, but this recipe is going to knock your socks off. So thank you again. I'm so glad you guys are here. And Jill, take it away.
Okay, I have one requirement that every time I say Instapot, you have to say woot. Okay. I will say iPod, but we don't have to do it then. Just when I say Instapot. Okay. That's going to come over really well. Okay. Okay, so today I am making the veggies and creamy curry sauce recipe from my book, OMG Good, Plant-Based Meals. No, wait, that's not what it's called. It's OMG Good Instapot Meals, plant-based and oil-free. So, yeah, we'll get it. We'll all get it down. Then I'll be like, shut up, I'm trying to do that. How many of you have an Instapot?
We have four.
You have four. Show off.
5 actually.
Show off? Okay, so wait, that was it. Who does not have an Instapot? That would be easy. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right.
So you can Instapot, but doesn't really quite know what you're doing with it.
Oh, there we go. 2.
Yeah.
All right. I'll know where to look. All right.
Probably have a moment of silence for those who do not have one.
Well, I have good news. And Sarah's keeping this. She's kept this to herself because I said, don't just tell everybody.
It's been hard.
Only the members of this ATX Live group need to know about this because I didn't want anybody from the outside just coming in just for this one thing. But today we're going to have a drawing, and I am giving away a Duo 6071 Instapot. And then I've also, for which there's so many iPod owners here, I also picked up the silicone lid, which is not here, the silicone lid that you can put on your inner pot so that you can store it away in the refrigerator. So somebody will get one of those. And then I have copies of my book and I'll give away. So whoever wins the Instapot and the silicone, there you go, and the silicone lid will also get a copy of my book. All right. Yeah! All right, now let's get busy. So I've been pressure cooking since we've been married, 20 years. And I got my first pressure cooker, stovetop pressure cooker, from my Meemaw. And I grew up with that chatter of the regulator on the stove. And I knew we were going to have new potatoes, or we were going to have veggie stew, or we were going to have roast. We might have chicken, something like that. But I knew it was always going to be good. I could go to sleep to that chatter. It's so awesome. So when we got married, my grandmother passed her Miro to me. And I used that and wore that thing out. And then just about 3 years ago, my aunt told me about her electric pressure cooker, which was totally different. And I thought, electric? Whatever. Electric. I don't need electric anything. I need the old school. I need the old school, stovetop cooker. This is, electric stuff goes out. I don't need all that. Well, I was stalking the Instapot Facebook groups and the Amazon reviews, and I found out that Instapot, you could make yogurt in the Instapot. And I was like, what? Yeah, okay, I need some yogurt. I need some non-dairy, unsweetened yogurt, because the stores were not doing that for us, right? I mean, the whole soy yogurt company had just kind of like kind of just disappeared on us, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm getting the Instapot just for the yogurt feature. And then I brought it home, and the first thing I made in it was brown rice. And I put the rice in, and I put the water in, and I pushed one button, and that was it. And I was like, oh, I got to adjust the time. There's 2 buttons. I got to hit 2 buttons. And then that was it, because it was going to cook, and then it was going to kick into keep warm mode. I was going to have to turn around and come back and adjust the heat. I wasn't going to have to set the timer. I was like, what? Like, what do I do with myself? Because I'm so used to the stovetop cooker. I'm so used to babysitting and being right there. And it took me just a couple of recipes before I was like, I love you. You're the greatest thing. Oh my gosh. To be able to put, I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, I do.
To push that button and walk away.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You're the best thing that ever happened. So I just, after that, it didn't take long. I have a second one. And I'm trying to decide if I need a third one.
Yeah.
And did y'all know that, did y'all catch that Instapot has come out with an 8-quart?
Yeah.
Oh, where's my one? I'm trying to decide if I want to go for the 8-quart. Who's thinking about getting the 8-quart? Anybody? There you go, one. Yeah. I've heard the only difference is we might need to add a little more water when we're cooking, but then it's still a 7-in-1, so we'll still be able to make yogurt and all that stuff. So that's pretty exciting. I'm excited about that. Okay, so let me get busy with this recipe. I'm going to start with making basmati rice, but I'm not going to pressure cook it because basmati rice cooks. I seem to overcook it every time I pressure cook it. I don't know why, but I do. So I have learned to kind of manipulate my iPot and make it work for me, and which is why I bought the glass lid. This is handier than I thought it was going to be. I really put off the glass lid. I was just using a plate when I wanted to simmer or saute something or keep my spaghetti sauce from splurting out everywhere. But now that I have the glass lid, I'm really loving it for the rice. So I'm going to put 2 cups of rice in here. Now I want y'all to know, the reason I have so many YouTube videos, and I'll never be on Food Network, is because I can't cook and talk at the same time. It is impossible. I prepped a lot of stuff today. Okay, so that's 2 cups of that. 2.5 cups of water. Okay, and I'm just going to stick the lid on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the saute feature. And it automatically sets to the medium heat. And I'm going to wait till this comes to a boil. And then I'm going to turn it off.
Oh.
And I'm going to turn it on to keep warm. Because you know how keep warm has the timer?
Right.
So I need this to cook for 15 minutes. Or just simmer in this hot boiling water for 15 minutes. So I'm going to use y'all are going to help me. If you can, when it hits 15, let me know. Because this will be ready. And then I want to turn off the keep warm mode because it'll be nice and hot and I don't want everything to continue cooking and get all sticky. Okay? So that has really helped me stop overcooking my rice, my basmati rice. Brown rice, totally different. You can put the rice and the water in, hit manual, set the time for 22 minutes. You're done. Perfect brown rice every time. And then you can, with the brown rice I found it doesn't matter if I wait 10 minutes to let the pressure off, or if I'm really in a hurry because I don't plan my meals, I'll just release that steam right off the bat, and then it's still ready. It's still ready in 22 minutes. So everybody's different. Who likes to just release the steam and go to town? Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait anymore.
Yeah. You're done. Okay. The next thing I want to do is get my veggies together. So I'm gonna get this one rocking. Now I've already cut up 1 medium onion, 4 cups of potatoes, 2 cups worth of carrots, and 3 garlic cloves. Okay, and that's going in here. And I'm going to pressure cook these guys for about, my potatoes are pretty chunky, so that's going to take a good 2 minutes to cook tender.
2 minutes? How could that be 2 minutes? No.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Bonnie and I had it out the other day. So my husband does the same thing. Where is he? Okay, there's a difference when you're reading my book and I say it takes 2 minutes to cook. This is what I mean. Because there's two ways to understand this. When I say it means it takes 2 minutes, I'm saying that you just need to set the time for 2 minutes. But there are folks that hear that and they think that they're going to put the food in the pot and then 2 minutes is going to pass and then it's going to be ready. But that's not how pressure cooking works, okay? So I just assume that everybody's spent years pressure cooking and they get me when I say, oh, it just takes 5 minutes. What really happens in here is that the pot needs time to heat up. Now, generally, whether you're using a stovetop pressure cooker or you're using an Instapot, there you go. You need at least a cup of water or a cup and a half of water to build up that pressure so that it will start cooking. So I'm going to eyeball this. Yeah, that looks good. That's just rodeo experience right there. Okay, and I'm going to put the lid on. I'm doing this backwards, so my brain is like, okay. And then I'm going to set my steam release handle to sealing. Let me turn this around. We're going to hit the manual button, and I'm going to adjust the time to 2 minutes, which I can't see. All right. So it takes time for the inner pot to fill up with pressure. Now, depending on how cold your vegetables are, frozen goods, oh my gosh, there are times I wish I'd just put it on the stovetop. If you've got frozen stuff in here, then just walk away, and just go do something else. It's going to take a while for it to build up pressure. It's going to warm up and then build up the pressure, and then it's going to kick in to its cooking mode, and the cooking timer will begin. And then you've got that time, so there was that time, right? Then you've got the cooking time, and then there's that letting the steam come down. And that can be, 1 minute, to let the pressure come out of to release out of here. Or that could be the 10-minute quick release, or you can just forget all about it, and, because it's going to kick into a keep warm mode regardless, and then you can just forget about it and eat it when you want to. So that's my favorite. That's usually what I end up doing. I make it, and I'm like, I'll be back in 20 minutes, and then the kids, and then the house, and then it's 2 hours later, and I'm like, oh yeah, dinner's ready, I forgot. So there's two ways to think about that. But if you watch my videos or read my cookbook, I'm just going to tell you how long to set this. So there you go. All right, while that's going, which hopefully won't take long in this heat, I'm going to work on the cream sauce. And this is super simple. Okay, I don't mean for this to be a NutriBullet demonstration, but I will confess that I use my Vitamix blender for my morning smoothies and drinks and things. But I have fallen in love with a NutriBullet for making small amounts of cashew cream or sauces. When I just eat 2 cups of sauce, I love just being able to zip, and I'm done. I don't have to wrestle with I don't have to wrestle with tamping or scraping down my Vitamix pitcher. It does everything, and I can move on.
And there's no blade inside also.
Right, yeah, and these, when you, if you, like I coughed up and I bought the whole kit with extra cups and stuff. They come with lids, so once you take this off, you can put the lid on it, and then you can just go on your way. They even have smoothie lids. It's really cool. So I'm really fond of my NutriBullet for small jobs, and I like that it's affordable. No one's going to be hindered to buy a NutriBullet. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I mean, if you tell somebody that you have a Vitamix, especially somebody who's not plant-based, and you start telling them about expensive appliances, man, you're like, you're turning them off. And you're like, oh. But the NutriBullet is like that. Hey, you don't need that if you just need to make a little bit of something. So that's really a nice, I've started to introduce this more and talk about this more just to help people, not have those barriers. Yes.
I know that if I buy an Instant Pot through you, it will benefit your business. Do you have a thing with because I don't own a NutriBullet, and if I'm thinking of buying one, do I buy that through you too?
So I like to work with Amazon affiliates to for all that kind of stuff for commission sales. So I will, if you see me use a NutriBullet in a video, and I'm like I'm really trying to focus on it, I will put my Amazon affiliate link in the video description below. And if you just ask me what it is, send me a message or something like that, I'll send it to you. So, but I like working with Amazon the most. So it just works out better. And the more, generally, I mean, not to get off on the blog, but generally the more I sell with Amazon, the higher my commission is. So that if I just send everybody to Amazon, then the proceeds help me to just keep on going here. So I love it when you guys use my Amazon. Where am I going? Okay, here we go. Let me get this going. Okay, so for the creamy curry sauce, I need 1 cup of natural cashews, or raw, or whatever it says on the label.
And you don't have to soak them?
I do not have to bother soaking them with this NutriBullet. I really like, when you're looking, if you're comparing prices on these guys, they do have different size horsepower motors. So I went, like, again, I got the 900 series here. They do have one that's 1 step up, and it's an RX. And that one has the ability to heat soups. So it is a higher horsepower. So if you want to do that, but see, I have the Vitamix. So if I'm going to heat a soup, I just said, well, I'll get out the Vitamix for that. But for creaming cashews and cashew sauce and cashew cheese, whatever, this is perfect. Okay, so 1 cup of those. I need 1.5 cups of water. Now this is still going to make a thick sauce, a thick cashew sauce. I'm sorry you can't see. There's water. I need 2 tablespoons of curry powder, and this is just regular old curry powder from the HEB. Just for, okay. I need 1.5 teaspoons of minced ginger, which I like this from the ginger people, the organic minced ginger that you can find at Central Market. So that's really good, because I'm not going to try to mince ginger on my own.
HEB also carries the ginger in a tube. You can just squirt it out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is that in the produce section?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Rosemary. All right, 1.5 of that. Depending on our mood, green curry paste, which I don't know how to pronounce this stuff. Who knows how to pronounce that? Maize? You know, anybody? The green can. And I went ahead and put it in a plastic container, because after this, I'm going to just throw it up in the freezer.
So this recipe is in your cookbook?
It is. Oh, I'm sorry. It said 1.5 to 2 teaspoons, so I went with 2. Shanna, will you go get my spinach out of my refrigerator? I just realized I forgot the spinach. Okay. So, you'll learn, if you get a NutriBullet, it's 1 lesson. You'll get it 1 time. It'll be part of your life forever. You got to make sure that you get this screwed on tight. And you got to put that man squeeze on it. Because the first time you turn this over and you run it, and it's not on right, it'll seep out. And there are holes. Oh, I'm boiling. Okay, so I canceled the saute, and then I just hit the keep warm. So now we just pay attention to the time. Let me peek. Oh, we're doing it. Okay. What was I saying? Okay, so what happens is there's little holes in here, and your fluid will seep down. So catch it quick. Don't take your eyes off it. Okay. All right, y'all ready? You ready to count? For this is so fast. What was that, like 10 seconds, maybe? Boom. Smooth. Now this is watery now, but when I go to pour this over my veggies, it will get really thick really quick. So
What's the thickener of it? Is that green stuff?
No, it's the cashew. So if I ran it,
Cashew.
yeah, cashews like to thicken up. So I'm gonna leave the lid on that. Okay, so that's it. That's it for the cashew cream sauce. All right, here's the part where we're just waiting on the iPods. This hasn't come to pressure yet.
So can you talk again about the rice? It's saute until it gets to, without setting a time?
So I'm just using the saute mode to heat up the water to bring it to a boil.
But the rice is in there also.
Yeah, so it's just the rice and the water thrown together in the pot, and then I'm just bringing the water to a boil, and then I just want to stop that. I really want it to simmer, and the keep warm temperature is like 114. So, you know, the water's boiling, and then you get it to and then you keep it at like 114. That's a nice low simmer that doesn't cook it so fast that it starts sticking, you know, and get gummy. So it'll be a nice fluffy jasmine rice when it's finished. So I'm really just letting it steep.
And that's, when do you do the 15 minutes? 15 minutes of saute or 15 minutes of keep warm?
Oh no, so as soon as I see the water come to a boil, then I want to turn off the saute, and then I'm going to cancel saute, and then I'm going to hit the keep warm button, which I just canceled that. Is it on? Did it say? What? Did anybody happen to notice what the number was? Okay. So when you keep, I'll just keep peeking. Just go. Okay. So when you turn on, so it's just watch it for the water. I usually listen. You know, you can hear water rumbling, and then I'm like, okay, get over there, turn it off, and then hit the keep warm, and then I let the timer. I just watch the timer. And if you're going to be away from the iPod, then go ahead and set a timer somewhere else, and you know, for 15 minutes, and then just come back and then turn off the keep warm mode. That's it. So it's just and again, it's just for this particular rice that I like to do that. Or is everyone like members of other Instapot communities on Facebook? Yeah, good. We're all addicted. Yeah. So something that I see happening, or I see people doing, and I haven't really tried it myself, but I want to get into, is being able to cook multiple things at the same time. So have you guys seen where someone might take a couple of bowls or a couple of glass containers, and they'll fill them with a grain, like a couple of different, like quinoa and rice, and then they stack them in the iPod. I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. I don't have any small dishes like that, so I found on Amazon this nifty little thing. It was a little more than I really wanted it to be. It's about 25 bucks, but it comes with its own little trivet. And it's called Cook's Essentials. It is not an Instapot accessory, but it fits. It's 7 inches across, and it fits perfectly in the inner pot with about 2 inches of space around this. So you could really do some serious steaming with this. But what really got me excited is I like to go over to the Instapot communities that are not plant-based and see what they're doing and how I could veganize whatever they're doing. So people are RV folks. I love RV folks. They're they're taking their Instapots on the road, and they're making cheesecake, and they're baking cornbread in there. And I'm like, how do I do that? How do I do that and make it vegan? So this it stacks, and so you've got this. The recipe book that came with this talks about how to make, how to pressure cook a cheesecake, and how to pressure cook a bread pudding, and there was something else, there's also a regular pudding that you could put in there. So you could put, this is probably 3 cups of something, you know, if you're camping or it's just you, this is a perfect amount, and you can fill that up. And I was also thinking about brains, so you got and then you got the lid. And then you drop that in, put that together. And I wish I had my third iPod out here. And then you just drop that in, you add the water, and then you pressure cook according to the recipe. So for the cheesecakes, they're saying 30 minutes to pressure cook the cheesecake. So as soon as we can figure out vegan cheesecake, anybody throw it out, you know, let's play with that. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to trying something like that. Not for really everyday cooking, but maybe when we go to a potluck, or we just want to turn somebody else on and show them what else they could do. But there's a huge RV community out there on Facebook that are using Instapots, and it would be a great way for us to kind of crash their Facebook groups and like show them how, you know, share our plant-based recipes with them. So,
quick question: if you were to put, like, let's say rice and brown rice on top, like, would you put the water inside of it, or would the water be on the outside?
So I would, to cook if I were doing grains, I would definitely want to put the rice and the water together in here. And then the outside water that's going in the pot, that's just to build your pressure.
Got it.
Okay, so you just need that for pressure. But you do need water in the pot, at least 1 cup, to get a good pressure going. So some people have told me that they use less than a cup, but I think that's, I don't think that's wise for your pot. You know, pressure cooking for 15 years, even with a stovetop cooker, my pot never ran dry. My pot never exploded on me. You know those horror stories. I've never read anyone say that it happened to them. It's always it happened to somebody's so-and-so's mother's daughter, you know, aunt, and it exploded in the kitchen. But even if it could happen, it would, you know, pressure cookers don't explode, but they can warp. And that happens when there's not enough liquid in the pot and it gets dry, and then you damage the seal and all that sort of thing. Well, so here with the Instant Pot, we don't really have that problem. We get scorching. You know, if we don't have enough liquid in our iPod, there's scorching. But thankfully, our iPods have a safety feature that when it gets too hot or things start to burn, it will actually cut off. It will say hot. Or it might say overheat. There's actually an overheat. I've never seen it yet. I haven't taken anything to that extent. But it will say overheat, and it will kick off for us. So we don't have to worry. You know, we don't need to be afraid here. Are we done? Is it finished? Yay! Okay. All right, I'm going to release this. It takes 1 minute. I've counted this before.
How are you doing on time with your rice?
I don't know. What does it say right there? Can anybody see that? 5 minutes. Yeah, we're good. Oh, yeah. And it looks perfect. And if y'all want to come up here and look what Jasmine looks like ready before I fluff it. Evidence there. What was I saying? Oh, so, okay, so when we're dealing with starchy foods and rice, if we're pressure cooking, and you want to do the quick release, two things could happen. Nothing could happen. Or if you've got a lot of rice or potato in there, the starchy water can start to come up through here. And if it does, like you're trying to release it and it starts coming out, just turn it back. You know, just wait a few minutes and then try again. Or you can kind of do this, make a little song. You know, something like that. Or you can just, don't have this under your cabinet when you do this, but you can just let it go. This is seriously hot. It is seriously hot, and I would never even joke about putting your hand or your face over this steam. All right, I'm gonna let it go. It's good. Yes, please. I'm still waiting for I'm just waiting for the rod to drop so that I can open this lid. Be careful. Now this does get hot, so wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, that looks much different.
Did you say you steamed it or sauteed it?
So,
Sauteed.
Okay,
so, but sauteing is just to get the water to boil. Okay, and then as soon as it comes to a boil, stop. And then turn on the keep warm mode.
How many minutes did you put on?
15, because that's what the bag says.
Now that's a tip. I did not know that. I totally picked that up
Here,
today.
read
Thank
this.
you.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
Read this.
Okay, so sometimes the little rod doesn't want to drop down after the pressure has released. So just tap it and it'll come down. No big deal. Or don't touch it though. Don't use your finger. You can do that. All right, so this is done. I'm almost finished with this recipe. Okay, I'm going to check on how much water I have in here, which is quite a bit. I need to dump some of this out. Intermission. I'm going to take my oven mitts and go. I have silicone oven mitts. You're about to see those. And I'm going to take this to my sink, and I'm going to use my oven mitt, and I'm going to hold it. I'm going to drain off some of this water. But I'm going to keep back about a cup's worth because I'll need it to wilt the spinach and kind of thin this out. Because this will. No, I'm good there. Okay, so the last of this recipe is just 4 cups of spinach. You see how well I measure this? I like to use baby spinach because it's small. All right, and then I'm going to dump this on top. Yeah. And then I want to turn on the saute for just a minute. Get that hot. And what I want to do, I'm going to put this on the iPod. I'm going to bring it in so we get a chance to taste this. But all I want to do is just simmer this for about a minute and let this spinach wilt. And then we're ready to eat. That's it.
What are those red things?
Oh, this is tomato. Sorry. So the last thing I like to do is when we go to plate it, you put your rice and then you drop this on top and then just drop some tomatoes. Or I could just do this. That works too. When I'm really lazy, just do that. And then I go, okay, it's time for dinner. And that's it. That is veggies in creamy curry sauce. All right, I'm done. I'll just.
Anybody have a quick question
Yeah.
for Jill? Let's take a couple quick questions.
Yes, ma'am.
This morning I was making brown rice, and it's the first time it's happened. The thing was kind of sputtering while it was cooking. Is that normal?
Was it sputtering from the top?
Yeah.
Okay. It could be that your steam release valve wasn't, turned all the way. That could be it. Or maybe the rod was dirty and it wasn't in a full upright position to lock in the steam.
Yeah, that's true.
That happens to us sometimes too if I'm trying to make too much.
Yeah.
And it starts sputtering up to the top as it starts to spoil.
Yeah. Really pay attention to that max line in your inner pot. And then if you ever see steam coming out of the side, well, that's your seal not properly seated. So I didn't do that today because I kind of already did it earlier. But before, it's just a habit from my stovetop pressure days. Before I put my lid on, I just make sure that my seal is actually pushed down in here and it's all seated, and then I lock it on. So that's an old habit, but I knew it was already set today. But anyways, always make that, just make that a good habit, and take that opportunity to look at this cover here, make sure it's not all clogged up, and if it is, I can't touch this right now, but if it is, just pop it off and use one of your toothbrushes or whatever and scrape that out and clean the valve here. And this removes, you can take this off, okay, and you can take that off, and then this metal piece is your vent pipe right there, and you can see through it. But if you can't see through it, get yourself a pipe cleaner or a Chanel. We craft here at house, so there's always Chanels. So I'll get one of Maggie's Chanel sticks, and I'll just run it through there and scrub it, and then it's clean. So there we go. Great.
And if you accidentally forget the gasket, the seal inside that pot, and you cook whole grains, it will ruin your Instant Pot. So don't do what I did, ruin the Instant Pot by forgetting to put the gasket in the lid. Very important to remember to put the, you gotta say it positive, remember to put the gasket in the lid always.
Okay, another quick question, anybody? Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, go ahead, girl.
So I also graduated from a stovetop pressure cooker,
Yeah.
and I've noticed that the gasket with the Instant Pot absorbs smells a lot.
Yeah.
Is there a trick to keep that clean?
I have not figured that out. Go ahead.
Mine down, I put lemon essential oil or grapefruit and wipe it. It doesn't completely get rid of it, but it cuts it down a lot.
You can also soak it in a vinegar solution, 10% vinegar, and soak it, or lemon juice.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that'll help, but it doesn't completely go away.
No, it doesn't. So this is what I've resolved, because I have two iPods. So what I've just settled with is, this is my stinky seal. Okay, so if I know I'm gonna cook something with a lot of cumin or curry, then I just make sure to use this seal. And you can see it's even stained, right? And you're right, no amount of vinegar or lemon or anything is gonna get it out of there. And then I have my other one that doesn't have any odor at all. But I will say that I've made yogurt with my stinky seal, and my yogurt did not pick up any flavors. Now that was me, maybe I got lucky, I don't know. Karen, I know you make a lot of yogurt. Have you ever?
I haven't paid attention to the store.
So you haven't noticed there. Yeah, there we go. So there.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
All right.
cha-cha line time.
Go.
Okay.